Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a slightly cursed looking? I don't know, something's not quite acting right here. Anyways, welcome back to our Bedrock talking about Redstone world. And I have brought over the smarter version of the crafter module. This is just a Bedrock catch-up episode for what I wasn't able to do 2 episodes ago. So this should get us caught up on both Java and Bedrock. We talked last time about our incrementers, decrementers, and red coders. That's all this stuff over here. 2 episodes ago, we talked about expansion on this autocrafter to include adding in multiple possible item inputs, which our AND gates here work the exact same way. We're taking a comparator read. Hold on. Had my volume through my speakers instead of my headphones. That probably sounded really weird for all of you. I apologize. You'd think I'd knowed better, but, you know, I don't learn. Anyways, so we have our comparator outputs coming from our different material chests running into these AND gates. All that is we have a torch off of each of these. When that torch is off, it turns off this redstone line and allows the appropriate line to turn on. Something worth noting is on the Java version, I had all of this crafting logic off the front. It makes no difference, but I did build it off the back this time just because it's a little bit cleaner if you wanted to have this, you know, in a room, in a space. This kind of gives you an idea of how much area you'd have. So you get at least decent headspace in here. All of this purple line you could run off the back and have it back under there, have a little bit more floor space as well. But other than that, the only key thing that we've had to change is every location where we've used a rising edge monostable circuit. Instead of using the Java version, I've used these Bedrock rising edge monostable circuits. And I've shifted some of the wiring around just for convenience sake. So here again, we have our Bedrock monostable circuits. We can't have these directly next to each other like we can the Java ones, so they're spaced out a block. Otherwise, these lines would interact with one another and cause problems. Everything else is the same. It's still a little bit of a pain to get the timing right on the shields, but it's just a matter of kind of fiddling with the timing until it works. This is what happened to work for me, where we activate our planks here, have all this delay, activate our iron, then have a little bit more delay before we start running the planks again. As for what we've changed, just like in Java, we go up this torch tower from our input chest to decide, does this need to be on? It does, so this is locked. Our AND gate input from our supplies is off. So the moment that we don't have enough materials in, or don't have enough items in this barrel, we're going to get an output through this torch. This is going to turn off. This is already off, so both will be off. That will be saying we can give an AND gate output. So we have an AND gate running into another AND gate. That then runs up through this repeater into this block, powering a dropper with any item in it. It doesn't matter what it is. I believe all of these are just colored concrete. Yes. Doesn't matter, could be rotten flesh, it makes no difference. All you need to have happen is have that drop up into this dropper, which will give a comparator output into our item call circuit, which works exactly the same as last time. Then we lead a line back this way with a repeater into this brown circuit, which just holds this piston down after the system turns off for a brief period. And this yellow circuit, which spirals down into a decay clock to maintain a signal on for a little extra time. which leads into our red circuit here, which is just the hopper lock to prevent items from coming down so that things can pass by into the next circuit. We have our purple line as normal coming across the bottom here, and all this is doing is locking all future modules. We have our white reset line coming off of each of these AND gates, which goes into a monostable circuit. And this is just running a reset to send the items in these upper droppers, back down into the lower droppers. So, what all of these changes mean is if I come to, say, this one, and I drop out a couple items, and I come to this one, and I drop out a couple items, and I come to this one, and I drop out a couple items, we have a system that will intelligently lock and only activate one unit at a time, and it will be biased towards our first unit. So this is going to craft swords. Oop. I may have messed something. Oh, I may have left some extra items in there from testing. I apologize. Just to make sure. Yep. Craft sword just fine. Then we should get activation on our shield crafter, I believe. Oh, I may have been one off on this. I was. So this will run one more time. There we go. Then our shield crafter should run. Perfect. And we'll just go ahead and help this out a little bit. I've taken out a few more items than I should have for testing. I'm going to let it. Ow. That's my bad. I put in too many items this time as well. Trying to speed things up, I've messed things up. Because apparently that is what I'm doing today. Sorry, guys. I'm too eager. Yep. So if we give this a minute, we should see the items for our pickaxes come through. If you don't leave extra items in from testing like I did, it just works. And then it'll perform another item call for our, there we go, pickaxes. And the reason it can't make a call for any module later in the system is because if we, say, have items missing from this, right? It's going to turn this torch on, invert this signal, which runs to here, and then through this repeater, invert this signal as well. So this torch and this torch will be turned on. These run into our delay reset circuit here are pink, but what those are doing is they're just applying power to this circuit so that this AND gate cannot get an item call signal until the prior units in the system have one. So we're able to lock prior circuits, or I'm sorry, we're able to lock later circuits, but do so dynamically. So if this has already started running, the system is already locked so that through this brown line, all of these pistons will be raised while any circuit is running. Because I've already taken, say, a pickaxe first and then a sword, it's not able to start the call on the sword circuit. But the moment the pickaxe circuit is done and it signals the reset, it will now have locked the pickaxe circuit through the gates on the sword circuit. So this cannot activate again until this is done. So no matter where you start pulling out items, it should be biased to always run from closest to inventory out. So, it's a lot of redstone spaghetti. This is a little bit of a, like I said, a catch-up from something we already covered, but we're just going to run through this one circuit at a time again, just to be sure. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, but hopefully I'll answer them right now. Our cyan circuit is acting as our trigger circuit, saying we have a full crafter. It sends a crafter signal. So, it's set on one of these clocks. It circuits through here, sends a signal through this repeater into this block, activating the crafter, dispensing the items forward into the barrel. Our pink circuit then gets activated with a decay clock, which powers this, turning it off briefly, disabling our AND gate here, enabling, I should say, our torch here, which sends a 1-tick pulse through this monostable circuit, which gets turned into a 4-tick pulse through our reset circuit, which activates each of our upper droppers and sends the items back down into the lower droppers. Once that's done, we get a reset back down. So that's where our yellow and white run. But if we go this way into purple through this repeater, we are activating this lower dropper, sending the item up into the upper dropper. From there, we're reading an output with this comparator into our magenta circuit. What our magenta circuit is doing is it is sending our item call signals through a monostable circuit. So this turns any length of pulse into a 1-tick pulse. So we are activating our different item calls with timing based on when we need the items to show up. Each time we pass through one of these blocks with a torch on it, it inverts the torch, activates this observer, which sends a signal through the system to call that specific item. We have this output leading into our brown circuit. What our brown circuit does is all of these lead one way, this direction. And when they get to the end here, they go into a decay clock, which is connected to these repeaters. What this is doing is it's saying when this system changes state, lift all of the pistons and hold them up for a short span of time before they are allowed to go back down when the system changes state again. These, of course, are sticky pistons with the blocks we're using to pass signals into the droppers. We're also taking a yellow signal output here. Each of these just holds the piston for that specific circuit down a little longer when that system disables. We run a yellow signal down into a decay clock into our red circuit, which is our hopper lock. And our AND gates over here are reliant on these prior AND gates. So you have an AND gate into an AND gate, so you're creating a 2 requirement input. Both, we must have enough of both materials, and we must need an item crafted before we can send a signal up. And yeah, our purple acts as a lock for future modules. All of this is a little bit spaghetti in appearance, but again, not meant to be the most compact version of the thing. It's just meant to be a good example so that you can take the fundamental knowledge here and apply it yourself. Or you can build this exact one. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not opposed to it. It's not the worst system in the world, but I'm sure that you could build something better. Anyways, If you have any questions on this or on any of the other stuff we've talked about in our Let's Talk About Redstone series, any Bedrock or Java specific questions I'm willing to take a look at. I've already got a couple of things for future videos that I've gotten from comments that I'm working on and will be coming back to. So, yeah. If you have any questions that you want me to run through in either game version or in both game versions, let me know. And hopefully we'll start to see some of the responses to some of the other questions I've gotten here in the next couple weeks. So, anyways, thanks so much for coming along on the adventure, and I will see you in the next time. See you in the next one. Oh, that's so cursed. Does he even wave right now? What is... No, not even punching. All right. Bye-bye.